Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.
All right, welcome back to Football 101. Martin O'Donnell here, joined again with Coach Bret Bielema. And, Coach, 3 games into the season, see that you wind up moving some guys around. Yeah. So Julian Pearl gets out there at the offensive line, moving guys kind of through the offense. Is that a constant process? Do you want to get, kind of 3-4 games in, be settled? How does that work?
Well, a little bit of an evolution going back to December, right? When we first got here, Palcho had a knee that had to get redone, right? So he wasn't in the mix all spring, didn't get him till the fall. And in the fall, he was really limited and not fully cleared until that final game week. So we weren't really sure where he was going to be going into that opener. Stayed with that rotation really through the first 2 games. He handled everything pretty good. Once we knew that was cleared, that gave us the ability to move Julian Pearl inside the guard, which is what we wanted to do to, in theory, get our better 5 out there. So that's that. At the wide receiver position, Isaiah Williams playing the first time ever, and now you introduce Deuce Spann, get Casey Washington, who wasn't with us in the spring, get a little more comfortable with him. There's a variety of different things that kind of factor into it. Defensively, got a couple new faces. You had Dwayne Johnson, a true freshman, Tyler Strain, another true freshman DB. On offense, you had Pat Bryant, a wide receiver, get in, so there's some new faces that are working their way in as well.
How do you decide when a freshman is ready to play? When do you just kind of say, hey, we think he's ready, give it a shot?
Obviously the NCAA changed the rules that now they can allow them 4 games in, but I don't care if it was this year or 20 years ago when I first got into this profession, a lot of times the ability for freshmen to play, everybody thinks it's physically, but it's really mentally. It's whether they can handle the live stadium environment, and whether they can handle the week of preparation, whether they can have the consistency of 1 week to the second week to the third week. Because a lot of times those freshmen, they're just trying to figure out where classes are, figuring out how it is to live away from home for the first time. So a lot of it really is the mental and the maturity level of the player.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And then, obviously coming in, year 1, really establishing, the Bret Bielema Illinois football program, right? So there's a very clear vision as to where we want to go. What are some of the key ways that you impart that into the team? How do you get the coaches, team, just to kind of work through that on a daily basis?
Monotonous, right?
Yeah.
Like you just got to keep drilling it into them. Unfortunately, a lot of time when young people have adversity, they tend to revert back to what they know, right? And that isn't what we want, right? I said it from day 1 when I got here. I really didn't care what happened in the past. I just worry about what happens in the future. And we've kind of laid the foundation of what we want that to be. Penalties, mental errors, and turnovers, things we have to eradicate from this program are going to be the things that bring you down. And case in point, Saturday, right when we got to a point where we were trying to get our way back into it, we had repeatedly 3 post-snap penalties that really kind of just took us out of it altogether. And we got to get those players to understand when it's at its worst, you got to be at your best. And that's a mental composure, it's physical composure, and then hopefully good things will happen.
Well, and this week against Maryland, Friday night game under the lights. If you had your druthers, you could pick. Are you playing, 11 a.m. game? Are you playing 2:30? Are you playing a night game? What you got to pick, and you can't just hedge on this. You got to make a call.
As a head coach, I'd definitely go 11.
Yeah.
I think that those 11 a.m. kicks are good for the players. They don't have to sit around the hotel all day. Home or on the road, you're in a hotel room regardless, and it allows you to just kind of get up and hit the ground running. There's not many of them anymore, but I think the next best slot is probably that 1 o'clock, which isn't quite as early, but it's not later in the day. But night games, this coming week, obviously to play at night on Friday night in a college environment. The student section has already got 8,000 sold, and they've been great through these first 2 home games. So to play with a block eye and the students and to have everything else going, I think is a great thing.
No, that's great. And, Coach, I want to use this as an opportunity for the fans and, the Illini Nation to get to know you a little bit better, some of your opinions on things. And obviously you played football at the University of Iowa. Did you ever wear a neck roll in high school or college?
I was a neck roll guy in high school. I don't think I had it all the way through college. At times I did, but it's kind of interesting now, like when we do have a player that has the need for that, they'll mention it or bring it up, and it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure when I was in college, I just asked for it and they gave it to me. So the game of football has changed a lot. Medicine has changed, which made it a lot better for our student athletes. The number one thing we got to do is protect them from themselves, right? Or from putting themselves in harm's way. So that's a lot of times where it comes down.
So why don't guys wear neck rolls anymore?
They're kind of,
awesome.
Well, it is, but it's also restrictive, right?
Yeah.
I think that there's guys that, when they play in certain positions, offense and defense, just don't want to restrict their movement from their head. And then I think there's also some deep thinking that that it could put you potentially in harm's way if you didn't need it, right? By the angle that you could get hit and not be able to turn out of. So there's a lot of different factors. The game has changed so much over the last 20 years, really in the last 10 years. It's an amazing adventure every year.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you for your time, and thank you for stopping by with Football 101.
Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.